And welcome to iPen Visions podcast, interviews and conversations. We're back on with Anthony McCauley and my co-host Felice Reeves, and we found out some things about him that we just did not know. We didn't know that he was a Pied Piper. We didn't know that he had been through some things. We all have that part of life that we look back and go, good Lord, I don't look like what I've been through. And this man does not look like what he's been through. And he is no longer doing what he did to look like what he'd been through. So Anthony, you tell us, where did that vision come from? Where that was a question that we got left off with in the second segment, where Felice was asking you. Where was that vision and how'd you get to those goals? What gave you, we understand you're a God-fearing man and God implemented it, but what gave you the vision to stop what you were doing and reroute yourself to this goal?
Wow, that's amazing. Thanks for asking that question. And sometimes you just have to move. While I was doing my in-school mentoring coordinator job, I kept having a vision because I've dealt with boys, big brothers, big sisters around the United States, even during some moments of clean time when I wasn't doing active addiction. I was doing the right thing. I was always trying to do the right thing, but something would always lead me back. And it seemed like every time I was fearing success. I knew what I was supposed to have been doing. I knew the platform and I knew the route that I was supposed to have been taking. And Felice, you don't know this, but I lost my wife a year, coming up on 2 years now. Oh. And she actually was a clinical therapist, and I shared this vision with her. And she said, you know what? You got to give birth to this thing. So she said, here's what you're going to do. I'm going to hold I'm going to hold us down. I'm going to hold the household down. I'm making enough money while you build your nonprofit. And I said, I don't even know what to name it. So she said, males. It's going to be males. I said, yeah. She said, how about telling them they're set apart? So she said, males of distinction. So my, God rest her soul, wife, Corda McCauley, named Males of Distinction and allowed me to walk in the vision and build this thing from the ground up. I wanted to take the young men who everybody said that they were at-risk kids. I don't call them at-risk kids. I call them at purpose. Yes. My boys are not at risk. They are at purpose. They just don't know no better. And so when I got a hold of these kids, these young men, and started to pour into them and I walk into ISS and I said, something has to be done different. So I had enough audacity, Nanette and Felice, to Google, what does it take to start a nonprofit? Step one. And it told me, here's an application. Here's the process, step one. Then it told me step two. Then it told me step three. Then it said send the money in. So I follow all these steps. And the naysayers, Felice, on my job that I was working said, Anthony, that doesn't work that fast. It'll take you years to get that done. It took me 30 days to become a nonprofit organization here in Moore County. And the vision, I built the model from scratch. I didn't recreate the wheel, but I made some things my own by rewording and looking at some other nonprofits, and I made it my own. I made it my own by developing a model of making this a motivational success program that guides the perspectives of young men and women who they make, like I said, they call them at risk. I call them at purpose. They just don't know any better. And the vision God has provided for me. I am not the new kid on the block anymore. But I noticed that in the area I am, I'm going to have to branch out. I'm going to have to become global with it because where I'm at, I'm in a county, Felice, that's 83 to 85% white, you know, and the rest is other. Yeah. And there's a traffic circle that has a per capita income on one side of $100,000 up. And you get on the other side and that per capita income goes down to 25,000 below. Those are my kids. But Males of Distinction does not have a label of being an African-American program. We will help any young man that needs help. It just so happens all of my young men look like me. I'm finding out I got boys in the 10th grade right now on 2nd and 3rd grade reading levels. What happened? So I got the answer for them, but then there's a mindset that I'm having to deal with, Felice, that's having to take me global now. The mindset of a single mother raising a young man who's 12 years old, who may be standing 6'3", and he thinks he's running the house. Yes. And the mindset that I can give you all I can give you, but sometimes you got to invest in your children. I can't keep giving you everything because that way you get used to it.
Right. And not only that, the thing about it is we have to understand that you can't expect the branches on the tree to spread leaves that are golden and will drop and regrow if the root of the tree has a problem. Yeah. So you have to have the programs that are going to help. And as you and I have discussed over and over again, from the time that they graduate to the time they become young adults, that period is also full of holes.
Yes.
You know, that period we promote, go to school, get your education, but we don't teach them how to go to school. Right. We don't teach them how to live on campus. We don't teach them how to travel. We don't teach them any financial obligations, how to be financially prepared. You know, we don't teach that. Like you said, there's no reason for someone to be in the 10th grade and on a reading level of a 2nd grader. Who pushed him through all the way through? So it's not just the fault of the parent. It's also the fault of the system. And sometimes we have to look at that in the whole too. I have a question for you. When you go and you bring this program, like you said, you want to go global. When you go and you bring this program, what are some of the, I understand people embracing it. You know, the Boys Club, as you and I both know, because I worked for the Boys Club as well, they embrace just about anything. You know, they look at it and say, yes, because they want more children to be involved. So they embrace any programs that you bring in. But how much of a setback have you found when you go to some of these places and tell them, look, I've got a program that doesn't quite fit in your after school program, or it doesn't quite fit in your church program, because you've got some things that you need to deal with that they just don't embrace politically. So how do you get around those things?
That's tough too, because I do get shunned a lot. No, well, not a lot. I keep it moving. For instance, I could walk in somewhere and bring a whole model program. Now, those things you just talked about, they're not teaching on campus. I teach those things to my boys. Financial, we go over. I bring in people to do those things. But to walk in a place and they look at my model that I built, okay, and say, Anthony, you're not quite finished with your Bachelor of Science degree. All you have is a 2-year associate. We see you got all these continuing education, this career diplomas. But so here's what we'll do. Give us your program and we'll pay you $10 an hour and you run it. Heck to the no. HE double hockey sticks no.
Right.
I can't do that. Right. I can't do that. So I gather my paperwork and I walk out. And some people say, well, man, you need to count it. No. God gave it to me, provide. But now you know what's happening? Those places are calling me now.
Yes.
But it's different now because it's going to cost you this time.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm doing it out of pocket, and one organization may get $50,000, and they'll say, "Oh, who is this Males of Distinction?" Just give them $500 because we don't know. They got a great program. Just give him something so he can just be quiet. But no, I had to have developed and monetize and develop a salary because I deserve it.
Absolutely. And not only that, I mean, definitely you deserve it, but your who you're serving deserves it. And so that's the thing, and you know who you're serving. So God is not a minimalistic God, and so I know He's telling you to walk away from people that don't understand the value, or don't want to honor the value in what you're bringing. So, but I love several things that you said, and especially where you look at the possibilities instead of the impossibility. So you're focused on the positive. So by that alone, you will be successful, because that's what stops a lot of people. And that's because they're not really married to their purpose or whatever, however they're serving, is they look at everything that could stop them instead of, but I also love that you said that initially you were afraid of the success. Again, that's positive. You know you were going to be successful, and you were afraid of that. So again, I encourage you. I want to do whatever we can to support you in that positive forward thinking and that momentum of going. So what does going global look like for you?
It means to me, like I just found out that you were in Dallas. That means to me that you can spread the word of Males of Distinction, that we have a virtual mentoring program that these boys can get involved with, and they can meet with a virtual mentor on a weekly basis.
Love it.
You know, and they're going to get what they need. For instance, we may be talking about integrity tomorrow. You know, I may bring up, and we may be doing introduction to drones one night. You know, I call it my kick it sessions. So, and it'll be a safe place for young men to come, and we just kick it and talk about life. So that's what going global means. It means not being afraid to collaborate. However, in the collaboration process, I have to have a spirit of discernment, because everything is not for me, and there's so many people coming at me now that I have to have a spirit of discernment to know that every bandwagon is not for me to jump on.
Absolutely. Ooh, thank you. Say that. Okay, but before we, I don't know, Nanette, what our time is, but we need to know how to get in touch with you. How can someone virtually connect and have a mentor, or connect with you to see how we can forward your program in other areas globally?
I am located you can go to the website, www.malesofdistinction.com.
Okay.
You can email me at malesofdistinction@gmail.com.
Love it.
You can find me on Facebook at Males of Distinction. Okay. They can find me on LinkedIn at Anthony McCauley. You can find me on Facebook at Anthony McCauley. Just Google me.
Yes, just Google him.
Just Google me. Now, there was a time, Felice, when I didn't want you to do not Google me, but now life has changed. Now you can Google me.
Yes, because it's not about you now, right?
Yes,
that's right.
Yes, and that's so important. That's so important that we can find each other. All you gotta do is look. All you gotta do is look.
That's
right.
Yes,
we're gonna take our break right here, and we're gonna call this the conclusion of episode 3. But we're gonna come back with the dynamite segment of episode 4. So give us a chance to acknowledge this man that has taken on a challenge that a lot of men don't take on. And we want to look at that in the next episode. So we're going to take a break right here.